following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
To the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
Yo, welcome to the Adventures of Pipeman here on W4CY Radio and also Talk 4 TV. And I've had a little seclusion downtime because Pipeman Radio Tour was full blast since March, almost every weekend. We have a couple, left, but basically the last festival that I just did was the beginning of October. And then except for a couple shows, I kind of just went into that, come down seclusion from the whole excitement. And now I'm back and I'm here with my pipe nuts. And one of them is especially nuts right now. So first, before I call them on, we have this new thing, a teleprompter. I'm going to pull the teleprompter up so that I can read what I have to say. But there's a problem. Hold on. Let's ask the pipe nuts about the problem. Pipe nuts, come on down. All right. And we have a guest in the background that's going to be coming soon here in a second. However, I just want to know why nothing is scrolling on my teleprompter. Do you guys know?
On the teleprompter?
Yeah, for everything I'm saying, I have a teleprompter on here.
Did you click on the teleprompter?
I did.
Side?
I did.
Are you scrolling or
using
the arrow keys?
This is the thing. The reason I asked this question is because people are so focused with certain things or certain details that they ignore the obvious. It's because I have no script in the teleprompter. So, of course, there's nothing going to be scrolling on the teleprompter because I don't use a script. And that's why. So now let's see if I can do this without the teleprompter real quick. We are very, what?
I would hope so.
What, to have no script?
I would hope that you could do it without a script.
I'm going to try. Okay. This next part, it's very difficult. I'm going to try to see if I can do it without a script. We are bringing on a guest who actually started off as a guest on my show at a previous radio station before I started the network. Okay. So he was a guest on my show on another network. And he is probably the second longest running show on the network besides this one. And he is definitely the OG of W4CY Radio, W4HC Radio, W4WN Radio, W4CS Radio, K4HD Radio, and Talk 4 Media. Okay. And I have mad respect for this guru, and he is a guru. And so you know him, Rebel. Juan, you know him. And even my daughter that does the disclaimer, the adult disclaimer, by the way, we're going to ask him, is that a little creepy that my daughter does my adult disclaimer on my show? It's a little creepy to me when my daughter's doing it.
I think it's ironic.
Just a little bit ironic?
Just a little bit, yeah.
Won't you say? That's a song, by the way. He didn't get the song reference because he's too young to get the song reference. Let's see if our guest knows the song reference. So let's welcome to the show the pet health guru, Bill. How are you?
I am fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. And so the pet health guru is also the chief person in charge of My Paleo Pet and is the chief person in charge of Pet Health Cafe. I did that all without a teleprompter, Bill. Can you
There
believe
you go.
it? Could you hear me when you were backstage?
Yes.
Were you paying attention?
No.
That's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought. Okay. So you've known Rebel a long time. Based on being on the show now, compared to previous episodes, how would you say she's aged?
Quite well, actually.
She's like looks better, right?
I don't know that I go quite that far, but
She looks like she finally got some sleep.
just different. Uniqueness.
She's a trans Halloweenie.
There you go.
Okay, so pet health guru.
Yes.
It was just Halloween. What happened? Let's start here. What happens when our pets get into our pillowcases and start eating our candy?
Gee, I just did a couple shows on this actually. All that stuff that they list on the poisons for your dog are pretty much, if it's real food, it's no problem. It's all myth. It's a way of selling you a product. And that hotline is actually run by a nonprofit organization that charges a fortune because your veterinarian can't tell you the truth.
Right.
It's the grapes, the chocolate, that sort of thing. However, we have to, in those candies, one thing we have to realize that most of the chocolate on the market today isn't really chocolate. It's not cacao. It's not the natural stuff. It's loaded with waxes and all kinds of preservatives, things that will not allow it to melt. So you're not putting a food product into your body when you eat that yourself. And of course, the dogs and cats are going to have the same issue with it.
I like when they do that because then when I leave my chocolate out in my vehicle in South Florida, it doesn't make a mess of my vehicle.
That's right. But when the dog eats it, then you've got a mess.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. I've seen that too.
Yes.
By the way, I was at the Green Market in West Palm Beach this weekend.
Okay.
And they had this booth where they were selling something for pets their booth touted THC and CBD. So I, of course, went up to the booth and I'm like, you can't really give THC to an animal, especially a dog or a cat. And they said it was just the CBD because that's true, and I want to hear your viewpoint on what happened, especially like stoners. They love to get their dog high. Okay. Who's that? Is that your store?
Yeah, it's at the store. They're running through carts.
Where is your store? Tell everybody where your store is and what they could get at your store and how they could also, check out your online store.
Right. Well, the online is at mypaleopet.com, where we list most of our products on there. And we're located in Pompano Beach, Florida, 2201 West Sample Road. We're right there at Sample and Power Line, right next to one of the best coffee people in the world, Wawa. And we're, our hours are posted online. We're not open every day, but we're open when it's very, very convenient. And we've got literally 1,000+ products in here that are geared around both pets and people. Actually, in the evolution of this company over the last 20 years, it doesn't look anything like a pet shop or a pet supply store anymore. It's actually 100% of my products in here are both for people and pets. And we do raw diets
So
for
people
dogs.
like Rebel.
So
people like Rebel.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, we do all kinds of herbals. We do, since we talked last time, we're pretty much a farm to table store now. So your grass finished beef and your poultry with no grains, and good proteins for both people and pets. Pasture raised eggs, all the raw dairy products, which of course are in the news all over the place today. They're they don't want us to be healthy. That's what they said. So
why should we be healthy? Why should we be healthy? It makes people too much money for you to be unhealthy.
Oh, I know.
Especially your pets.
Oh
my God, what they charge?
Oh,
it's ridiculous.
It's gone through the ceiling, and a big part of that problem is corporate medicine, just like we have on the human side. We've got one major company that's in the candy business that makes foods and is now the world's #1 employer of veterinarians. They bought up all the small hospitals. They then forced those veterinarians that were independently minded to now follow a corporate structure. They can't make decisions on their own. And it's created this monster, if you will. A lot of the equipment that they use, they're all doing now different scans, CT scans, MRIs, and all of that sort of thing. That equipment is actually the outdated equipment from the human hospitals. So the quality is not there. So
wow.
It's a mess. And I mean, they're looking at 200%, 300%, 400% increases in veterinary fees. And the other thing is, of course, the big controversy on, the V's, the injectables, preventions, is they won't even allow you in the office if you're not up to date and compliant.
Huh.
Even on an emergency basis.
Wow.
It's crazy. And if you've got
I'm in the wrong business, I gotta tell you.
Well, it depends on if you have any kind of morals, I guess. But the thing is if you're going into an emergency hospital, whether it's on the human side or the animal side, my understanding 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago, that you had to be seen. Now they can turn you away at the door if you don't have certain procedures that have been done to your body. And it's just getting worse and worse and worse. Just a typical office visit now is anywhere between $500 and $1,000. If you go in on an emergency, if they answer the phone and you say, "Hey, my dog's is vomiting or has diarrhea," the first thing out of their mouth is, "Oh my God, that's an emergency." That adds $1,000 onto your bill without you even walking in the door.
Wow. And okay, so let's talk to our PipeNutz here for a second. Juan, have you ever brought your Chihuahua to see Bill?
I have not.
And why not?
Because I don't have one.
Exactly. So Rebel, when have you gone to visit Bill? Because is that where you get your animal food for yourself? What?
I visit Bill online and place my order.
Yep.
Oh, so animals can place their order too online.
Yes, exactly.
Perfect. It wouldn't that be cool though if you could just train your dog or cat to just go online to your store and buy what they want. It'd be like your kids with your credit card.
Exactly.
That sounds expensive.
You have all these boxes showing up at your door, and it's like, what?
They get the Rolls Royce stroller.
Exactly.
Think about that. Has anybody ever thought about that? Of if you were a dog or a cat, what would you do? Bill, if you were a dog or cat, what would you do about eating? If you're humans are feeding you kibble, what would you think if you were the dog or the cat?
I would think that they just don't have the knowledge to do the right thing. And then they will complain when I have an upset stomach, I have diarrhea all over the house, I'm vomiting, and they spend $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 in the vet's office and get those results to say there's nothing really wrong with them, and we ignore the food part of it, the nutrition. I mean, our health is dependent on what we put into our body completely.
Oh,
And,
100%.
You know, if it doesn't go in the body, it can't hurt you.
So, like when the animals are out in the wild, okay, are they eating kibble?
I have not found a kibble tree yet. But then again, I haven't found the money tree yet either. So,
well, they're all money trees because we chop down trees to create the paper for the worthless money.
That's right. And then we have to use it for firewood so that we can stay warm because we can't afford the electric bill.
Exactly. So, but we are saving a lot of money now because with the end of SNAP, we don't have to kill any trees to make the food stamps.
Exactly. Well, they're using the plastic now. So, we have to drill, baby, drill to make those plastic.
Oh, there you go. So, back to the CBD THC thing.
Right.
So, like, from what I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, THC is definitely extremely toxic and can kill your dog and or cat. And I really do hate, I always have, when you got these stoners that think it's funny to get their pet high. Okay, like, you chose to get high. That's like taking a kid and forcing them to get high too. Like, the animal can't say no. And how do you know it's going to affect it? Now, the two-part question, what is your viewpoint of what THC can do to your pet? But now you got these places because CBD's the popular thing now. Should pets even have CBD? I don't know.
Well, the truth of the matter is all mammals and all warm-blooded animals literally make their own CBD. And because we have that endocannabinoid system. And basically it works in conjunction with our adrenal system. So, but instead of working on a trauma like, the adrenals, it's working on inflammation. So your body's trying to fight that inflammation. And when you take it, give it to your dog, give it to your cat, whatever animal you do, that basically is going to turn on the receptor sites where that inflammation is. And then it floods the area. The body does it itself, floods the area with hormones and enzymes, blood cells, platelets, and nutrition to start the healing process. And the body, as you know, actually works on a hierarchy where it's going to go to the worst one the first time you take it. The next time you take the dose, it's going to go to the next worst inflammation area. So it's continuously working. And it can be a game changer, but you have to, what we found over the last 20 years, and actually it's been almost 15 years working with CBD, is that if we combine that with different botanicals and herbal products, natural products, and even the right foods, when we take it after we ingest these foods, it will send the right nutrition to the right area. And that's an important part of the healing process. It's not just for fun and games or recreation, it's actually doing the function. And of course, with our polluted bodies, we can't make enough CBD. We can't make enough of most of the things that we need to detoxify.
Yeah. Well, and it's true with, humans. Like if you take CBD for a specific thing like cancer, glaucoma, it doesn't get, or even THC, it doesn't get you high. No. When it's used medically. That's why I have this thing. I don't think that, the THC or CBD is medicine for everybody. I think it has medicinal qualities. And if it gets you high, it's not a medicinal quality.
No, and the problem with CBD too is the quality. I mean, so many, when we first started in the business, I partnered with one of the top research groups that were doing sustainable agriculture to raise it. So, USDA certified organics. We control the whole process all the way through. And so it's pure. I remember in the early days, somebody tried to sell me bulk CBD And when it came in, it was a different color, a different smell, and a different taste to it. We actually sent it out to our lab because, you know, we do some laboratory work as well. And I found out that it was 100% vegetable oil with no medicinal qualities at all. It was just, it turned into a, oh, you know, I mean, there's a lot of that even with street drugs, and actually a lot of that.
It reminded me of being when I was a teenager, and this friend of mine went, you know, and got some pot from somebody, and all it was parsley.
Yeah. I mean, I saw something this morning that they recalled something like 100,000 doses of a cholesterol medicine.
Oh yeah.
That was fake.
Yep.
Wow.
And you know, when you start taking this stuff, you have no idea what's going on unless you know your sources.
And people just blindly listen to their vets and their doctors. It's like, no. I remember when I had the first heart attack, okay, which we're coming on like 8 years now in December, okay? My son was there, and he's in the military, so of course he has to be pro-Western medicine, you know, that's the choice. And, you know, they started to wheel me down to do a cardiac cath. Like, they started wheeling me down. I'm like, whoa, where are we going? Oh, you're going down for a cardiac cath? I'm like, no, I'm not. I haven't even talked to a doctor yet. And my son goes, Dad, just do what they tell you to do. And I was like, no, I'm not going to just do what they tell me to do. I want the doctor to come here, the one that's going to be going inside my body, okay? And I want to know everything, and I want to know what's the worst case scenario, the best case scenario, and everything in between, which the doctor did end up doing. And then I can make an intelligent choice. You have to be your own advocate for sure.
Absolutely. It's interesting because we talk about this on the Pet Health Cafe all the time, and we've included a lot more with people and that sort of thing. But even today, with the way medicine is structured, whether it's veterinary or on the human side, it's all about specialty medicine. And to be honest, that is so incomplete because, okay, you had a heart attack. What caused your heart attack? They don't know.
No.
Because they're not looking at a root cause. You know, it was something going on in your body. And when you start tracking it back, okay, means your liver probably wasn't functioning properly. So it wasn't filtering out all the bad stuff that was going through your intestine, in your mouth, and it just all accumulates. You know, we're breathing the chemtrails. But I have to mention that, though, too, since October 1st and the law went into effect here in Florida, the skies are a little bit bluer. No, not as many chemtrails. However, federal law supersedes it, so the feds can still spray us.
Yeah, there you go. So, Rebel, you have pets. You know, you're a pet, and I converted you over to Bill many years ago. What has been your first-hand experience as the end user of how life is in your house now with the Pet Health Guru's advice and products?
Oh, they are living longer. They are eating better. They're very active, as I have older pets. They are still active, younger.
Nice. And then I assume your look now is because of, you know, all the healthy things you're taking from Pet Health Guru?
This is makeup, by the way, which is probably not good to be on for too long, but it's fun. And not only do my pets products from Bill, but I use, and I find that it helps. I don't take medication that people, like doctors, wanted to throw at you and this, that, and it's like, somebody will ask, well, what are you taking? I don't take anything. Why would I? Oh, but you're, don't go there. Just because you hit a certain, time in your life doesn't mean you need to take medication. And
well, that's the thing too. That's a great comment, because how come all old people have a whole medicine cabinet full of medication?
Because a doctor told them they needed it.
And then they got
I think it's more because if they fall off their medication, they could look like Rebel.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Well, it's not true though that all old people have a pile of medication. I haven't so much as had a Tylenol since 1994. I haven't seen an MD since 1994. And I'm no youngster, although I keep getting told that I'm looking younger and younger rather than going the other way. I still work 7 days a week, horrendous hours, because I love what I do. And, it just keeps me going. But I eat clean, and that's even getting to be such a challenge today. A couple weeks ago, we did a show on Pet Health Cafe again that talked about food ingredients and food labeling. And just a good example, everybody's pushing grass-fed beef now. And first off, almost all beef is grass-fed at some point in their life. So, and of course, they can even do it in the feedlots with pelleted foods and things like that. But then we had to move the names to grass finish, pasture finish. And when I did some of the research on it, the pasture finished beef that's coming from all these big ranches and everything else, on the internet, they're all selling half cows and, butcher boxes and stuff like that they're actually feeding those cattle not only the hay, but things like high fructose corn syrup, vegetable oil, grain byproducts that we see in pet foods all the time. There was a list of like 30 items, and in one of the websites I looked at, it was actually the farmer telling how they lobbied the Department of Agriculture to let them mislabel the food.
Wow.
I mean, it's just horrendous, and you don't know what you're getting.
Well, there definitely is so much more to talk about, and because so much of that is going on in both humans and animals, and that's why I'm announcing right now, we have the pet health guru is going to be on the Positively Pipeman segment every Monday. We have the Adventures of Pipeman, 1 p.m. W4CY radio every Monday, but that's where Pipeman gets a little serious and more serious. And we will have the pet health guru on every Monday with tips and help for all of you, not just that have pets, but are humans too. And basically, so we can help everybody be healthier, happier, live longer, and want to live longer, because living longer is not enough if you're not in good health. And let's get you off all the poison and get you on all the good stuff. And that is what the pet health guru is going to do. And make sure, everybody needs to tune in also every week to Pet Health Cafe. So, Bill, real quick, why don't you tell everybody how they can watch your show and listen to your show every week, and how they can check out your podcast?
Yeah, the Pet Health Cafe airs every Thursday night at 8 o'clock on W4HC. Yeah.
Yep, W4HC Radio, W4HC.com.
We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. All the other channels that are listed on PetHealthCafe.com. We're all over the place. And of course, the other thing that's equally as important is for everybody to share it, of course, and subscribe so we keep our algorithms high, but also to share the archives with all your friends, because we know that everybody doesn't have the same time schedule and that sort of thing. It's up and available 24/7 in many of these same venues. So, we invite you to listen in. We always have an open chat. You can ask your questions. We get sometimes some weird questions, as Rebel can tell you.
Well, look at Rebel. She's weird. So, I mean, come on.
So, we welcome you there. And again, let's spread this healthy message. I mean, that's the whole thing. Let's I keep hearing about, Cancer Awareness Month. It's Diabetes Awareness Month. Well, why don't we do something about it? And we can actually do that with some of the tips that we give and some of the, ideas, and they're coming from a lot of holistic, veterinarians and human practitioners. I just want to say one little last thing here is that if you're looking at, on the internet a lot today, We're finding a lot of doctors, a lot of veterinarians that are actually giving up their license and starting consulting businesses, because then they can at least tell you the truth. And that's an important part of the whole thing, is being able to get the truth, ask why all the time.
So if you want to hear the truth, tune in to Pet Health Cafe every week. Tune in to Positively Pipeman every week for this truth, business truth, motivational truth, all kinds of stuff like that. And in the meantime, Pet Health Guru, you can hang out with us. We're going to switch gears a little bit for the rest of the show.
Okay.
And so basically, I want to go over real quick. Like I said, the Pipeman Radio Tour is dribbling down to an end. I've been since March, one weekend after another. I have a couple more gigs coming up for the rest of the year, but not the extensive traveling that I've been doing. So I have a little time to spend here in South Florida. And I did get to catch a couple gigs in South Florida, which was amazing because not many times I get to do that anymore. So I covered a show at the Culture Room, one of my favorite venues in Fort Lauderdale. It was the Fear Factory tour, but it was Byzantine was playing with them, and so was MRSA. Funny, we should say that. And Byzantine, I sat down with OJ, and we had a great talk that in about 2 minutes, you're going to get to see the whole interview live on site at the Culture Room. And then for Halloween, okay, I thought a rebel on Halloween because I was at the place where she first was able to see a mosh pit. And it isn't they made that whole back area bigger, and it's not like the brick stuff. You would have been a lot safer. Okay.
Oh, that's good.
There wasn't even a stage there this time, but another band that I interviewed at Louder Than Life, The Haunt, played the Moonfest block party on Halloween. They played at Respectable Street, one of my favorite West Palm Beach venues. Check out on my podcast the interview with The Haunt. They are big up and comer. They had one song that had like 25 million streams recently. Mm-hmm. They were so good, and it was a great show at Respectables. Love that venue. Always recommend it, and make sure to keep tuning into the Pipeman at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. The Adventures of Pipeman, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Sometimes, because I'm traveling, we may have a pre-recorded show, but it's still just as good, or interviews. And check out the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts. The Adventures of Pipeman, Pipeman in the Pit, Positively Pipeman are all the podcasts to check out. We got more coming. There's going to be a new Pipeman show coming, so stay tuned for that. We got something new. In the meantime, thanks, PipeNutz, for being here. Everybody stay here watching and listening, because Juan is about to roll that interview from the show at the Culture Room on site. This is the Pipeman talking, and it's audio, so we made an audiogram out of it, but it's the Pipeman talking to OJ, and we're talking about the tour. We're talking about upcoming stuff. And we have some old school stories. You're going to love this interview. And thanks for being here on the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio. Juan, let's roll Byzantine.
Hey, you're listening to The Adventure of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm here with
OJ from Byzantine. My full name is Chris Ojeda.
Nice.
Yeah.
And, it's funny because I had to tell somebody outside how your band name's pronounced. Okay. And I always do at festivals. We were talking about festivals. I always do it where the band introduces themselves, because I think the worst thing you could ever do is mispronounce a band's name when you're doing press.
Absolutely.
Like, that's embarrassing.
And there's some hard ones out there.
Oh, yeah, there's been some. Now I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't really know. So what I do is I'll research and I'll find another interview just to hear them how they say the band name.
Yes.
That's it.
Like,
'Cause I don't want to hear the interview because...
Sanguisugabog. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I still can't say it. There's some bands I know how to say it and still can't say it, you know?
No shit, man.
And then, like, nowadays, it's so hard to come up with a band name because they're all taken, so they have, like, weird symbols and backward letters or, like, you know, I just interviewed a band that they, instead of A, they had, like, a V in there instead of the A.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what they could do.
I feel fortunate to have started the band long ago enough that we were able to get a one-word cool band name that actually was a word and didn't have to come up with a fake word.
Right?
So,
and it actually means something.
It does,
You know,
yeah.
opposed to just throwing something out there. Like, I think it's cool, too, when bands, like, they throw something out there.
Yeah.
And it's like nobody has a clue or whatever. Like, even I remember back when nobody knew what NIB meant from Sabbath.
right.
Like, and it was like this big mystery of
Yep.
what it meant. And, you know, see, I think that's brilliant because then it's like people are going to, just like when, you know, 1969 radio show where they said Paul McCartney was dead, you know, and I know me, I was a kid. I bought every Beatles album just to check out all the clues
Right.
of him being dead.
Yeah.
You know, it's wild stuff. And today, I think it's harder than ever for a band, right? Like to really come up with something brilliant to, you know, market people. Because people have such a short attention span.
Very short attention span. There is exponentially more signal to noise ratio going on. Like there's so many bands and so many platforms to listen to them, and it's like we run into it. We right now we're currently out with Fear Factory. That's why we're here.
Right.
But every
at the Culture Room.
Right.
In
at the
Fort
Culture
Lauderdale.
Room.
I think I forgot to say that. But it is one of my favorite venues in South Florida.
But every show we've done on this run, we're talking to multiple people who are like, I feel ashamed that you've been around 25 years and we've never heard your name. Or we've heard your name, never checked it out. And I'm like, don't feel bad. You're here now. I get it. There is a ton of bands that I've slept on too because there's too much content out there.
You know, it's funny too. Like I said this to you last time we talked, that I found out about your music from Jose.
Yeah.
Listening on Sirius XM. And I was like, man, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
I was like, reached out to Liz. I'm like, I want to interview this band.
I guess all you got to do is hope that you can land a good tour and really make an impact with your live show, which I think we've been doing really solid on this Fear Factory run. We were perfectly primed for this run, and like the first leg we did was them and Cavalera Conspiracy, where we were an older band. Our fans are that age group. We all listen to KSAD and Demanufacture. So putting us on this tour actually makes pretty sense from a age perspective.
I think it makes sense from a music perspective because it's, to me, in the same area. You know, the same type of vibe type of thing. Funny. We were just talking about Cavalera outside, and I was saying to somebody, so I did Bloodstock. That's one of my favorite festivals to do in the UK.
Okay.
And Nailbomb played.
Oh
my God. It was like insane.
I bet it was insane. I bet the crowd ate that.
It was insane because I think it was like their first show in 20 years or something. I think it's their last.
Yeah, it was it. They just played the Nailbomb album, and that's
I was like, thank God I'm here, because it's like those things, like those final things. Like, who would have thought going back to the beginning, 17 days later, we wouldn't have Ozzy?
Right.
Like, you don't think of those things, and it does happen, you know. So I think people need to go check out more bands all the time because you never know when there might not be the next time.
Right. Yeah.
So,
to get morbid on everyone.
No, it's
but
just like,
it's the reality of it.
Or if you retire, like Megadeth's they're putting out their final album.
Yep.
And I'm kind of laughing too because I went to the first Metallica show ever.
Really?
And Mustaine came out after the show and handed me his business cards and Metallica power metal. There was no thrash yet.
Right.
Dave Mustaine. And then I'm looking at the song list on that final album, and the last song on the song list is Ride the Lightning.
Really?
Yeah. I'm thinking to myself, just knowing Mustaine, I'm like, because it's the last song, that is a big hello. That's my song.
That's crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
But
that's cool.
what's been the most fun or exciting or crazy thing that's happened so far playing that recently?
I can tell you for myself what's been the most awe-inspiring and like feather in my hat is that we're massive fans of Fear Factory. Our band has been inspired by them, and to be able to come out here and have Dino ask me from the first day, "Hey, you're going to go up and sing with us. You're going to sing a song with us every night." And I'm like, "What?" He said, "Yeah, get your ass up here, OJ."
I love it.
So he didn't have to do that.
No, he didn't.
Not at all. And for him to be so welcoming, and Milo, their singer, such a great kid, for him to be like, "All right, come up, let's work out our harmonies." Because, on our 2017 release, we released a European version that had 2 covers on it, and one was a Fear Factory song. So that is one of the reasons why we got the nod for this tour, is because Dino heard the Piss Christ cover we did, and he reached out to me on social media to let me know that we did. He gave us our stamp of approval.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's always good, right? Because you never know what the original band's going to think when you
they'd be like hating on it, but he loved it. And then when I get out here, he's like, "You're singing it every night with us." So, I mean, I could end it after this tour and be like, "Man, I got to sing with one of my favorite bands on earth 10 nights in a row," So that's been amazing.
So if somebody came up to you and told you like 20 years ago that was going to happen, what would you have said to them?
No way. No, you're shitting me. No way. I've been blessed. The last tour we did was 8 years ago because we don't tour a lot.
Right.
We're a domesticated, family-oriented band who just so happens to be on Metal Blade Records. But 8 years ago, when our last album came out, we did a month-long tour with Sacred Reich, and I'm a massive Sacred Reich fan as well. Grew up on Independent, cut my teeth on it. And the last show, Sacred Reich allowed me to get up and play Independent on guitar with them.
Nice.
So I've been very fortunate to come away from these bigger tours. They always say never meet your heroes. I've been able to come away from the last 2 and be like, all my heroes are rad. I've picked the right heroes.
See,
They're
love
rad.
hearing that, and I did see Sacred Reich at Hellfest this year, so I was excited about that. But it's cool to hear because, people like to talk a lot of shit, and I found that myself as a press person. I don't listen to the other press people because maybe you were the asshole is what I'm thinking.
Right.
And there have been a couple people artists that were talked about poorly upon by other press people, and then I shut that shit out, and then I would talk to them and be like, what were those people thinking?
Yeah.
I've heard that about a few people that were people that I was like, oh, and then they turn out to be the nicest people.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I was prepped by people, friends in the industry, like, Dino might not be the nicest guy. And I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. We will be respectful. We'll be good Boy Scouts. We'll play our stuff, get out of his way. From the get-go, he's been
That's
all
why you
welcoming.
don't listen shit to anybody.
I'm not listening to any of them. And conversely, we've run into people on tour, in our tour parties, that are not nice guys, but I'm not going to, we don't spread that word. We let people figure it out themselves because they might run into a different situation than we did.
Exactly.
So
you never know. And I find I have this scale as a press person. The icons are cool as shit because they have no clue they're icons and they're just there for the music. Like that's why they're icons. If you go into this, especially this genre, this type of music, to become a rock star, you're not going to become an icon.
Right.
You know?
Right.
You become an icon because you just love playing music,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah.
Then you have the lower bands, the new bands, and they need the promo, so they're cool as hell.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually the middle bands that maybe were famous with one song 20 years ago that nobody cares about anymore, and they still have that ego like they think they're God's gift to music.
Yeah.
You know? And I think just everybody should be humble and be nice. And, like, if you have bad situations with people, that's one thing. But just, you know, just be cool, and everybody else will be cool, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're out here doing all of this for the love of. Nobody's making a ton of money, you know.
Right.
I make way more money in my day job than I do this. So for me to come out here and give anyone attitudes would be, you know, it would be very detrimental to the band and, you know what I mean, just me as a person. And then you hear fans saying that bands weren't nice to them. Sometimes you never know
maybe
if
it was your fault.
Right. Or you never know if that band woke up and if they've got COVID running through them and they all feel like shit.
Yeah.
Or one of them has a father at the house with Alzheimer's and they're thinking about them daily. So
What great points.
Yeah, this is a tough job to come out and put the right face on every day. But if you have the right touring party, like we do right here with Fear Factory in Byzantine, it's easy to keep your spirits higher. And I think our fans and Fear Factory's fans are probably going to come away from this little run really happy because they've been able to see two bands getting along famously, working well together. That's how this whole thing stays oiled.
And it's such hard work, too. I think people don't realize that just listen to music or go to shows. Like you're saying, maybe somebody's just tired because they've been on the road every day for months, you know, and like whatever.
Right.
You just don't know what somebody's going through. And to me, and as somebody that goes on tour doing festivals, I get it. It's like, it's grueling sometimes.
Yes.
You love it, but it's grueling sometimes. And sometimes you wake up in the morning and you're like, I don't want to do this today.
Right.
Until you do it.
Yeah.
You know?
So if you're listening out there and, you know, you've ever had a bad situation with a touring band just once or whatever, it might have just been a fluke, you know.
Exactly.
Don't write us off. Sometimes we haven't had a good place to shit in a week. And
right?
Yeah. You can imagine how that is as a grown man.
Oh, you know what's funny about that is there's one question I usually ask in interviews, and that's like, one story, good or bad, that when you're like 80, you would tell people or tell your grandkids that sticks out in your mind. The number one answer in like over 3,000 interviews, the number one answer was shitting my pants on stage.
Oh, I bet. I've heard that can happen.
Right?
Thank God it hasn't to any of us, but you know, we don't tour a lot. But there's some people out there that are always on the road, always eating restaurant food 3 o'clock in the night, and may or may not have to shit their pants.
Yeah, and if you're doing a couple hours set, like,
golly.
you can't just walk off stage and go take a shit.
No.
You know?
No, you can't.
So,
that's crazy.
What do you have you played Lauderdale before?
Never.
Really? It's first time in Lauderdale?
First time being in this area. Yeah, we've only toured Florida once, I think, in our history, and that was back in 2004 or 5.
Wow.
I think we did Orlando, maybe somewhere up Tallahassee.
Yeah, nobody wants to come down here because it's rough. You got to come all the way down here to go all the way back
It's
up.
a longer drive. Yeah. We've done Tallahassee, Jacksonville, Orlando before, and on this run, we were fortunate enough to come from New Orleans, do Destin, and then St. Pete, Orlando, St. Pete, and down here, and we love it. Now we have been the alternate band for the Headbangers Ball boat, which is leaving on November 1st.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why we were like, let's end the tour in the Fort Lauderdale area. That way, if they call us for the boat, we're 30 minutes from the dock.
There you go.
The call hasn't came yet, but
it will. I'm putting it out there.
Yeah, if it doesn't this time, it will be next year. We're ready.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's
we went on that boat, Lamb of God.
Yeah, that's one I haven't been at. I've done Shiprock.
Yeah,
but I would like to do that one. I just hasn't lined up. Timing hasn't lined up.
Well, maybe we can do it together next year.
Yeah, there you go. Let's do that.
Good.
Let's do that.
Third interview is somewhere in the Gulf of Mexico.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have a trivia question for you about Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, okay.
What is our nickname? Our meaning South Floridians' nickname for Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, this has to be something. You guys have named it. It's not like a statewide thing or a countrywide thing. We won't find it in the geography book, right?
No. And I'll give you a hint. We were talking outside about spring break.
Yeah.
It has something to do with stuff that goes on at spring break or anywhere in South Florida all the time.
I would say, does it have anything to do with wet T-shirt contests or Girls Gone Wild or what?
It's not girls, but what goes along with that partying is alcohol.
Oh.
So think alcohol, how you could fit that into the name of Fort Lauderdale.
Let's see. Fort Lauderdale.
And I'll give you another hint.
Give me a hint.
I'll give you another hint. If it was referencing Girls Gone Wild, it would have to do with something you would do to that girl down below.
Oh, God. My mind is racing. I don't know. You're going to have to just tell me. So
Fort Lickerdale.
Fort Lickerdale. Gotcha.
Let me tell you, this is one place, I don't know about anywhere else, but this is one place that every morning you will see people going into the convenience store and buying one single beer and one single cigarette.
So the party doesn't stop.
No. Listen, they have the 2 o'clock bars. Then they have the 3 o'clock bars, the 4 o'clock bars.
Wow.
Then they have the after hours for 5 and 6 a.m. And then when those close, then there's the private after hours, like they're bars, but they're like speakeasies. Like, you have to know because it's illegal. You know, like there was this place near my studio that's where you would go when everywhere else was closed, and they'd be doing cocaine lines on the bar because, and the police substation was in the same plaza. That describes South Florida right there.
Fort Lickerdale. So I guess if I was down here in my 20s, 30s, I'd be at the 3 and 4 bars. Now in my 50s, I'm at the granola bars. So, things have changed.
That's funny because being in my 50s, before we did this interview, I went next door and bought like a protein bar.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That was my bar.
There you go. So you don't shit your pants.
Right? So anything else you want to share with the fans that we haven't covered yet that may be coming up for you guys or you want to look out for?
Yeah, well, if you're a fan of our band, then you know that we've just released our 7th album on Metal Blade Records. It's called Harbinger, and it's doing very well. It's playing
really good.
Thank you. We're playing a few tunes from that every night. Where it looks like we're going to go home for the winter because no one likes touring in the winter. We're from West Virginia, so it's blustery. So we're going to go home, and I think we're going to go straight into the studio. It's been 8 years since we released 2 albums, and the guys are so jazzed up after this Fear Factory Cavalier run that they're like, let's go back in the studio. Let's immediately record shit. So I don't know if that means cover songs, an EP, whatever, but we're going to get right back onto it. And
one of my favorite cover songs that you do, believe it or not, is a Cars song.
The Moving in Stereo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that is such a badass song.
Thank you. We You know, we are such big Cars fans, especially like when the bass player sings, like Drive and Moving in Stereo. Those are some of our favorite songs that he sang. And our guitar player, Brian, sounds a lot like him. So we thought, man, let's dig into it. And we had no idea that Sirius XM would gravitate towards it so much, and they play the hell out of it.
Yeah, if you go onto Apple Music, it's like your second most popular song.
Yeah. So I guess if anybody from the Cars is out there listening, and you saw a spike in residuals here for a month,
right?
That might have been us.
It's funny because when I was in high school, people used to call and say, "Oh man, you look just like Rick Ocasek."
Yeah.
And I don't know if I took that as a
because
compliment.
Rick Ocasek, I think you're a better looking dude.
I was really skinny.
Yeah.
And I was starting to grow my hair out, so I had that same hairdo, but
the saving grace of that is Rick Ocasek pulled some of the most beautiful women on earth.
And so
his wife.
There you go.
Yeah,
that counts to me.
There you go.
I'll tell you what, one last thing, too.
Yeah.
You talk about Metal Blade. I'll tell you a story about Metal Blade that'll blow your mind.
Okay.
So I lived in L.A. My dad moved me to L.A. in 1980. Imagine a time to move to L.A.
Right.
I mean, I went to Slayer's first show ever. I went to so many people's first show there. So there was this record store in the Valley called Oz Records. I love talking about this. Anybody that's on Metal Blade. And me and my friends used to go in there, and this dude that was a record store clerk would, show us an album and you need to get this album. That's how I got my first Venom album. Showed me Venom. And he would show us all the gigs to go to. That was Brian Slagle.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, when he first started Metal Blade.
He was working the record store?
Yes, and I was like, a few years back, I saw him, and I'm like, man, I got to tell you, thinking about it now, what a brilliant marketing plan. He goes, shit, I was just a record store clerk. I didn't mean to do that.
That's funny. Brian Slagle was one of the most humble individuals.
Right.
And he changed the face of heavy metal.
He might not be seen here if it weren't for
right.
him.
Yeah, me either. And the interesting thing is, the other great thing about Brian Slagle is he's a testament that heavy metal keeps you young, because he doesn't look like he's aged more than 10 years in the last 40.
Yeah, he looks like he did when he worked at Oz Records.
Yeah, very young.
It's wild,
Yeah.
Well, there you go. You're going to be playing a killer set here at Culture Room.
Yeah.
I'm super excited, and thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Thanks, Dean. Good to talk to you again, my man.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.